Manchester United have lost 2-1 to Huddersfield. You're not in a parallel universe. It's not a nightmare. It's a reality. There is so much to discuss, but the biggest thing I want to say is that Manchester United had one shot on goal in 90 minutes against Huddersfield. They scored that one goal with 12 minutes left in the game and they did not create another chance. We can spend a lot of time talking about defensive mistakes, but the reality is Manchester United were 2-0 down after half an hour. They had an hour to get back into that game. They had one chance. They had 12 minutes to get to create a chance for an equaliser. They created nothing. There are huge problems around what Manchester United have done today, and they should not be levelled at the door of one player who was thrown in at the deep end because Mourinho trusted Phil Jones, who has played very well this season, but any Manchester United fan would tell you, do not build a centre-back partnership with Phil Jones. It doesn't matter if he's the best centre-back in the world. He will get injured and that will fall apart. And it happened. And why Mourinho, with all his brilliance, and I think he is brilliant, why did he not see that Phil Jones thing was going to happen? Because the minute Phil Jones went off, our team fell apart. But bigger than that, far bigger than that, are the questionable decisions that were made by the manager today. I was stunned that we were 2-0 down. Absolutely stunned. Huddersfield had scored one goal in the last 7 games. They are a poor side who will be battling for relegation. Manchester United should be rolling into town no matter how many injuries we are. No matter if we played on Wednesday night against Benfica. We should roll into town, calmly keep hold of the ball and just pass them off the park and win 3 or 4-0 comfortably. That was what most Manchester United fans expected. 2-0 down after half an hour. Okay, that is shambolic, but we're Manchester United. We change it at half time. We get all our best attackers on the pitch and we go at them. What happened at half time? We take off our best attacker in the whole squad, Anthony Martial. We take off our most consistent attacker of the last 18 months in Juan Mata, and we bring on Marcus Rashford, who is carrying a knock, and Mkhitaryan, who's been crap for 4 games and was crap in that second half as well. What in the life is Jose Mourinho doing taking Mata and Martial off at half time when we need to score 3 goals? What is he doing? I cannot understand for the life of me why he did that. If he's trying to blame Mata for the first goal, grow up. Mata is one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League. Get past the fact that he may have been at fault for the first goal when actually it was a heavy pass from Herrera, and keep a player like that on the pitch. I would take Mata half fit over Mkhitaryan at the moment. As for taking Anthony Martial off, I think we need to face facts on Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial is a fan favourite of Manchester United fans. Anthony Martial would walk into every team in the Premier League, probably bar Manchester City. Anthony Martial is not liked by Jose Mourinho. We need to face facts, because if he's taking Martial off at half time when we're 2-0 down against the crap team, then there is a big problem with Mourinho and his feelings towards Martial. Now, I'm sure people are going to come on and say Martial was rubbish in the first half. Well, I disagree. And actually, I do disagree on that. But actually, name me somebody who was better than Martial in the second half. Because Lingard was worse and Lukaku was atrocious. So why is it always Martial? Also, Martial could have turned it round in the second half. He's way better than Lingard and he's way better than Lukaku. And if I hear somebody say Martial was taken off to protect himself from getting a red card, do not give Mourinho an excuse on that. How many times have we seen over the last year Fellaini pick up a yellow card in the first half and we're all like, he needs to be taken off. Fellaini, we know what he's like, he's going to get the second yellow card. Mourinho never does it. Mourinho doesn't take people off because they're on yellow cards. He took Martial off because he doesn't like Martial. And the minute we came out that second half with no Mata and no Martial, we may as well have just given United fans the second half off and, saved ourselves for next week against Spurs. Because the minute he did that, that game was gone. It was gone. There was no way we were going to get back into that game at all. And we didn't get back into that game. We created one chance, a good cross from Lukaku, Rashford heads it home, but one good chance against Huddersfield. We totally deserved to lose the game. And again, for the second week in a row, Mourinho needs to take a long, hard look at himself. That's embarrassing. But the biggest concern for me is not losing to Huddersfield, because if you want to win a title, you've got to go to Huddersfield and win. I think if you want to finish 4th, you've got to go to Huddersfield and win. But I remember Sir Alex Ferguson losing at Burnley a few years ago when they got promoted. So that you know, it's disappointing. I don't like it, but you know, that's not necessarily the reason I'm frustrated. The frustration for me is that I really believe in Jose Mourinho and I think he's the right man for Manchester United. But I cannot justify, understand, or accept what he did at half-time today was beyond a joke. It was a disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful set of events to take Mata and Martial off and bring... Why is Mkhitaryan coming on the pitch? He is rubbish at the moment, and he was rubbish in the second half. We may as well have just... If you want to take Mata and Martial, take them off and we'll play with 10 men. He's rubbish. Why did you do that? I understand Rashford had to come on. The logical thing was to take a defender off and get Rashford on, or take Lingard off and get Rashford on, because Lingard wasn't very good today either. There was 2 outfield players who played well today, Matic and Valencia. The rest of them were average at best or poor. It was a shocking display by the team, which was reflected by shocking decisions made by the manager. Really, really disappointed. And yeah, you know what? We're not challenging City for this title. I don't think anybody else is going to be honest. So, you know, maybe that's not a, you know, maybe we can't be too harsh on United. 6th to 1st is difficult, but we're not challenging City. We're not. We're not. We're no way. The squad's not good enough. And people go on about injuries and saying, well, we've had loads of injuries. We've had loads of injuries for the last 8 years. Every October we've got loads of injuries. Do you know why we're getting loads of injuries? Because we give contracts to players who get lots of injuries. I mean, Phil Jones, I've got nothing against the lad. He's actually played quite well this season. But why is he still at Manchester United? He cannot play more than 6 or 7 games without being out for a month. And that you can't build a team around that. And Phil Jones going off changed the game. He changed the game 100%. We've had a super chat. I need to read it out. Darth Maul, Mourinho the record breaker. First defeat to Huddersfield in 65 years. Taking Martial and Mata off is disgraceful, which I totally agree with. I totally agree with that. I can't defend... You know, everyone says, you're so far up Mourinho's backside. You never criticise him. You think he's the best and he's not. And I do think he's the right man for Manchester United. I do. I'm not turning on Mourinho. Everybody makes mistakes, but that was a shocker. I knew that game was gone at half-time. I said at half-time, if Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge, definitely takes the defender off and brings Rashford on. I was stunned, absolutely silent at the start of the second half when we need 3 goals and we take Mata and Martial off. I don't care if they were rubbish in the first half. Tell them off at half-time. Keep him on the pitch. You don't take that sort of player off when you need 3 goals. We haven't got the bench to do that. And Mkhitaryan is rubbish at the moment. I'm stunned by Mata and Martial being taken off. It was negative, it was petulant, and it was based on personal issues you have with those players. And Mourinho needs to stop it. This is Manchester United. It's not Mourinho United. Manchester United fans love Anthony Martial. I don't care whether you don't like him, Jose. Stick him in the team. He's the best flair player we've got. We needed 3 goals. Keep him on the bloody pitch. Ridiculous. As for Lindelof, right. Lindelof was bought by Mourinho. So Mourinho's going to get a lot of criticism about it. But he's bought well at United and a flop was always likely. Is Lindelof a flop yet? No, he's not. It's way too early to say he's a flop. He can still turn it round. He was thrown in at the deep end today. 20 minutes. Phil Jones did his normal get injured thing. We waste a sub on it. We bing Lindelof. Fellaini's, Bay's injured. Rojo's injured. There's nobody else we can bring on. It's got to be Lindelof. Was he at fault for the first goal? Maybe a little bit. Was he at fault for the second goal? Bet your life he was. It was. I mean, this is a goal that comes from a kick from the goalkeeper. It's allowed to bounce and therefore just runs through and scores. You won't see a goal like that in the whole of professional football in England today because it never should happen. It's pub league football and Lindelof is totally at fault to blame with that. I don't know why Lindelof as a centre-back doesn't understand the fundamental basics of being a centre-back, that you don't let the ball bounce and when a goalkeeper kicks it like that, you just go and head it. I don't know why he didn't. I don't know whether his confidence is on the floor. He's certainly a better centre-back than that, but that second goal probably kills us. But does it? Because as much as we all want to moan about Lindelof, there's still an hour left. There's still an hour to change the formation, to attack them, and to create more than one chance in an hour. I mean, that whole performance from defensive to attacking was just shambolic. Now, I agree in the second half we played better. But that's nothing to do with the substitutions he made. It was to do with the tactics he played. We played more offensively and Huddersfield parks the bus, which was their right. They were playing on the attack anyway. They were playing on the counter anyway. So really, 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 really disappointed. And I think in relation to Manchester United, what I also want to say is that a lot of people are saying we miss Fellaini. Now, we do. We do miss Fellaini. Can I just say that? We do miss Fellaini. I'm not slagging Fellaini off. We do miss Fellaini. Today would have been perfect for Fellaini. I would have played Fellaini where Lingard was, by the way, as a number 10, because that's where he played for Everton and that's where he's good. And I still would have had Herrera and Matic behind him. So Fellaini in a game like today would have been good. But you know why Manchester United aren't really progressing? Because we are muttering sentences, we miss Fellaini. That's the problem with Manchester United's squad at the moment. We are seriously sat here saying we miss Marouane Fellaini. Marouane Fellaini, how many Premier League titles has he won? How many times has he been close to winning a Ballon d'Or? How many times has Marouane Fellaini been close to being Premier League Player of the Year? None, none, none. And it never will happen. And yet Manchester United miss Marouane Fellaini. That is a statement Manchester United should not be making. And that's nothing against Marouane Fellaini. He's been important for us this year. But that's the problem with Manchester United under Mourinho and our transfer policy over the last few years. We miss Marouane Fellaini. We're not talking Eden Hazard like Chelsea miss him. We're not talking Aguero like Man City miss him. We miss Marouane Fellaini. That's the problem with United. We should be saying different things than that. We shouldn't be looking... And also, it reflects really bad on our team when that 11 players, we're saying we miss Fellaini. That's how bad we are. And that's nothing against Fellaini because we have missed him. But he's not a Premier League title winning player. He's just he's a finished fourth player. And that's the problem with United. And I think Mourinho's over-reliance on the bullies and not the technique was the problem today. Because at the start of the season, we said, we can bully anybody. We've got such a strong team. And I'll come back on that comment for you, Mikey mate, because Martial's not going to be the fall guy today. I will defend him. That is absolute nonsense. Mikey mate says Anthony Martial is overrated. Mark, open your eyes. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. He's not overrated at all. He's our best flair player. If you want to pick on people, Mikey, go and pick on Lingard. Go and pick on Rashford. Go and pick on Mkhitaryan. Why are you picking on Martial? He's our best player. He's our best attacking player. Alright, he may not have been brilliant in the first half, but you don't take him off when you need 3 goals and bring Mkhitaryan on, who's crap. You don't do it. You don't. In the last 10 minutes, the one player we needed on that pitch was Martial. He's already subbed him off at half time. Stop picking on people like Martial and look at where the real blame lies today for this game. And you know where and it does begin with them, and you know who is at fault. But Mourinho, hint, his reliance on big bullies is the problem and not technique. We're not playing the United way. We're not relying on the talent. He takes the flair players off, Mata and Martial. At the start of the season, we were bullying teams with our big bullies: Pogba, Fellaini, Bailly, Matic, Lukaku. Suddenly, Bailly, Fellaini, Pogba aren't there. We haven't got enough bullies anymore, and physically we can't deal with it. And that's a problem as well. Mourinho's over-reliance on the bullies because he wants to bully teams, and look at what Guardiola's doing at Man City. He's not bullying anybody. It's all about technique and flair and skill. And unfortunately, we want to bully people, and Mourinho misses his bullies. I guarantee Mourinho comes out with his press conference and says, if he comes out with things like, oh, it's injuries, he's going to make himself look an absolute clown because he slagged everybody else off for moaning about injuries, so he can't do that. If he moans about having to play in the Champions League, well, sit down. Everyone's got to play European football. There is no excuses. He's got to accept that today he made bad decisions. The substitutions at half-time being the cherry on the cake, but tactically wrong, setup wrong, substitutions wrong. Mourinho got it wrong today. Player ratings, De Gea didn't really have anything to do, 6. Valencia, I'd give an 8. I thought he never kept going. I mean, that's a problem in itself. I just want to bring up, I do want to mention this as well. Mourinho makes Valencia captain who can't speak English. Martial was getting involved in things in the first 10 minutes on a yellow card, and he needed to calm down. You need a captain to go over, take him to the side and say, wind your neck in, get your head down and focus on your game. Valencia can't even get to D in the alphabet because he can't speak English. Why have we got... That's arrogance from Mourinho as well. You know, if Roy Keane was on the pitch, we would have won the game. But if we had a captain who could actually speak English, then we might have got better out of Martial in that first half, who was getting frustrated. Lindelof 3 out of 10. Jones 3 out of 10 because of another injury. Smalling 5. Ashley Young 6. Herrera 5. Passing rubbish. Matic 8. Mata 6. Lukaku 6. Martial 6. Lingard 5. Rashford 7 just for the goal. But awful performance. Awful performance. We've got fan cams coming in. I can't wait to see what the fans at the ground have got to say, because that's an absolute shower of shit tonight. Really, really disappointed with it. Lots to discuss. Lots to discuss. Get commenting below. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. But more importantly, let's take some of your comments. And if you're not watching live, leave us your comments below. I don't see the positives from that. I know on my match reactions I can go off on one, and a couple of hours later I feel a little bit different. But show me the positive in that. Defensively, rubbish. Awful substitutions from the manager. One shot on goal reflects on the team against Huddersfield. One shot on goal in 90 minutes. There is no positive. It's embarrassing, and we may as well just print a big L on our forehead tonight, because we're going to be laughed at by everybody. But I don't really care about rivals coming on and taking the mickey out of us, because when you lose like that, you take it on the chin and you moan about it yourself. You know, no one's going to wind me up from Liverpool fans or anything like that, because it was just awful, absolutely awful. We Stand United says Herrera was awful. Well, you know, are we individually gonna start taking a pop at the players? I mean, we have done that in the past, but why you know, somebody's on about Martial again there, somebody's on about Lindelof. Why are you picking on players individually? We were 2-0 down after an hour. He made ridiculously bad substitutions at half time. Mkhitaryan shouldn't have even been in a United tracksuit for his performances, and he gets 45 minutes. What did Mkhitaryan do in the second half? Why is no one... If we're going to pick on players, why is Mkhitaryan not being mentioned in the second half? He came on Mourinho sent him on to change the game. Did nothing. So why is Mkhitaryan not being mentioned? We're just going to give him a week off. This is my point. Why are we attacking individual players? When you put in a performance like that, and the manager makes decisions like that, it's beyond picking on individual players. It's inept. It's absolutely inept through the whole squad and the management. The one thing I would say, and somebody just said there, Woodward needs to take a hard look at himself. Mourinho wasn't backed in the summer, and it is coming back to bite us. He wasn't backed in the summer. He got 3 players. He wanted at least 4. Why are the club not backing him? But I've said that so many times, and I get called a moaner when we're winning, but I'll say it when we're winning and when we're losing. Mourinho hasn't been backed the way he wanted to be backed. And for anybody who doesn't understand that, we've spent £300 million. Pep Guardiola spent £300 million. Pep Guardiola walked into a club that had won the title a year before and had Aguero, De Bruyne and Silva, amongst others, already there. Mourinho walked into a club that hadn't won the title for 4 years, was full of crap signings and full of spineless players who were just were wage thieves. He's bought 6 in for £300 million. He needs to bring another 6 in and spend £200 million. The job... Pep's been backed fully, Mourinho's not been backed fully, and Mourinho's job is much, much harder. Mourinho didn't inherit people like De Bruyne or Aguero or David Silva or company. He didn't inherit a team that had won a title before. You know, this just because he spent 300 million, I think United need another 200 million, and that's not greed. It's just the state our squad is in. And if he's not getting the full backing in the transfer window, what's the bloody point? Why aren't richest club in the world? Why are we not backing our manager? I mean, you know what? I'm falling into the territory again of sticking up for Mourinho, and I get a lot of criticism for that because I think Mourinho is the right man. And that's maybe a bigger picture thing. You know, the club should be backing him more than that. But in the individual story of today, I have to put the blame on Mourinho. Jude Dyke, Jose's still the best man for the job. Yeah, 100%. I'm not changing that. But today was wrong. And that double substitution at half time, I just can't get past it. I can't get past it. So angry, so frustrated. Yeah, Man City beat Burnley. We knew that was going to happen. That's not a surprise. another frustration. We're now we're 2 results behind City now. We needed to keep it within, in fact, we're 4 points behind City already, and we've still got Spurs and Chelsea to come while they've got easy games. I think by the international break we could be 7 points behind them. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Mourinho said that the fans should be disappointed, not because the team has had less quality, but because our players' attitude was poor. Well, that reflects on you, you clown. This is Mourinho tactics again. I love Mourinho, but when we lose, I can't stand him because he won't take the blame. He'll throw the players under the bus. Mourinho will sell Martial. He will, yeah. Sorry, we're 5 points behind them, not 4, because we lost. Sorry, Mr. Pineapple Hero. I was thinking we'd drawn. No, 5. Bloody hell. Shocking. Yeah, we'll probably be about 9 points behind them come the international break then. We need to beat Tottenham. Are you having a laugh? I mean, have you seen Tottenham away from home? We ain't beating Tottenham with that performance. We'll have to go long ball and get Fellaini back to do it. Time to focus on top 4, says Pat Logic. Well, yeah, we were 7 points ahead of Chelsea. It's only 4 now. By the time we play Chelsea, they could go ahead of us. We'd be back down to 4th or 5th again. Personalised gift house. Mourinho always blames others. Yeah, I'd agree. Mohamed Youssef, he's right, Mark. Mourinho's not out. Why are we blaming the bloody players? He picks the team. He made the stupid substitutions. He's the one who, has tried to build a centre-back partnership with Phil Jones when any United player would say, no matter how good Phil Jones is, he will get injured, Jose. You can't build a team around him. Mourinho did it. Mourinho should just take the bloody blame. I love Mourinho. I think he's the right man for the job. I don't like his arrogance and how he just blames the players all the time. Look, you're not going to turn me against Martial and Mata, Jose. If that's what you're trying to insinuate, that their attitude's bad, what a load of rubbish. Martial was well pumped for the game and Mata is Mr. Professional. You're not turning me against them. I'll tell you who I will turn against. People like Mkhitaryan, who you keep playing and you bring on at half time when we're 2-0 down and did sod all. If his attitude's good, give me Martial and Mata any day. I can't believe people are trying to have a pop at Martial and Lindelof and people like that, and Mkhitaryan's getting a free ride again when he actually came on at half time with the sole purpose of changing that game and did nothing. But I don't want to blame players. It's a collective today. It's a collective. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Loads of dislikes on the video. I presume that you all think it's acceptable, that performance against Huddersfield. If you think that's acceptable, that's up to you. To be honest, I've supported United for over 30 years. That's not acceptable. That is not acceptable today. The substitutions, the performance, not acceptable. And if you want to dislike a video because you don't like what I'm saying, well, you know what? Off you go, Lollipop Lane, living in your gingerbread house, because United should be better than that and it's not good enough. Anyway, I've had my say. I look forward to the fan cams that are going to come in because people at the ground will be giving us their opinion. Thanks everybody for watching. If you agree with what I've said, please do drop a like on the video. If you don't, I don't really give a damn. I'll say what I think, and I'm very angry and frustrated with United tonight. There we go. I'm not. I think you're. I tell you what. I'm not going to be abusive to people. I think you really need to wake up and smell the coffee if you're just going to go down the line of the players need to wake up. That wasn't about player performance today. That loss was totally about the manager, his tactics, and the substitutions that he made. It wasn't about the players today. No, the players could play better. I agree, but Mourinho got that totally and utterly wrong, and you are brainwashed if you are falling for that. Absolutely. Why was Mkhitaryan brought on the pitch when he's been rubbish? Why was he the game changer? And what did he do in 45 minutes? Who made that substitution? The manager. And a lot more. I'm happy to blame them collectively, but if you want to blame them individually, you are falling for Mourinho's hyperbole, protect his own back strategy that he always does. And it's the one thing I don't like about him. He should take the blame for that. He's more than happy to throw players under the bus, which I don't like. But he should throw himself under the bus. Not good enough today. And big games to come. Spurs next week, I think, disappointing. Really disappointing. Thanks everyone for watching. Keep an eye out for the fan cams. Really interested to see what the fans at the ground have got to say. Speak to you all soon. Lynn Hall's come out with a good comment. Mkhitaryan needs dropping from the squad. Jose needs to trust Mata and Martial. We need a left back and a centre midfielder in January. If not, we'll end up around 6th again. Give us your comments below if you're not watching live. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll be back at 8 o'clock live, but you should have all the fan cams before that. Thanks for watching. I cannot believe Mourinho's blaming the players, and I cannot believe people are buying that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.